Hello, and welcome to another episode of Todd Talks. And Todd Talks, people listen. Hopefully. Don't take this as a prediction. This is just me showing off that I have a Green Lantern ring. Because today, in a very unexpected death battle, we have Ben Tennyson versus Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern, aka Ben 10 versus the Green Lantern. And I'll have to say, first off, I did not see this matchup coming, which is great because I do like the unexpected matchups we have had this year, even with a lot of the DC Marvel characters just keep seeming to pop up. But yeah, this is interesting because it's about transformations, it's about versatility, and it's about who has the better will to win, pun intended. So let's get started with Ben 10. So, it started when an alien device did what it did. It stuck itself upon its wrist with secrets that it hid. Now, he's got superpowers. He's no ordinary kid. He's Ben 10. Whoa. So, if you see him, you might be in for a big surprise. He'll turn into an alien before your very eyes. He's slimy, creepy, fast, and strong. He's every shape and size. He's Ben 10. I'm sorry, I remember when I sang DuckTales for you guys. I love that theme song. I still have it going in my head. But yes, Ben 10 was just your average, ordinary 10-year-old kid going on summer vacation with his grandpa and his cousin Gwen. Until an alien artifact known as the Omnitrix crashed to Earth, he put it on, or strapped himself upon his wrist, like the song says, and he became an unintentional alien-powered superhero. Now, despite what people sometimes think, the Omnitrix is not a weapon. It was actually created, whose creator's name I just forgot. I was trying to remember a lot of the names of the characters, and I forgot a lot of them. But the creator of the Omnitrix did not create it to be a weapon. He's actually a scientist, a gray matter, for those of you who know the lingo. He's a gray matter, and he actually created it because he wanted to create a DNA database so that the universe could understand each other. In other words, he wanted to create a device that would let them walk a mile in each other's shoes. It was just taken and sent off because of Vilgax, one of the biggest villains in the series, who wanted to turn it into a weapon. And then obviously Ben 10 uses it technically as a weapon / defense mechanism. So, because of how the Omnitrix works, it has the DNA of virtually every single alien race in the Ben 10 universe. And by activating it, he could transform into one of these aliens for about 10 minutes, and then there was the seal was broken and blah, 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 blah. So he could turn into a vast variety of aliens. Now, at first, he could just transform into 10 because that was the default setting on the Omnitrix. But as the series went on and as the series evolved, which Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, and all the other series, including the very terrible reboot, he got more access to more aliens. And then the limitations slowly but surely started to uh, dissolve. But still, he could still turn into a vast variety of aliens from the universe. And that was actually one of the best parts about the show, was getting to see all the aliens that he could do. The original 10 aliens were, I think I still remember them all. We got Gray Matter, Lockjaw, Four Arms, Diamond Head, Accelerate, Upgrade, Ghost Freak. No. Oh, Heat. Did I say Heat Blast? I think I said Heat Blast. Again, it's been a while. I'm trying to remember a lot of things. So, but he started off with 10 aliens and he went up from there, and then he got an upgraded Omnitrix. There was the Ultimatrix, and so then he could transform his regular aliens into bigger aliens, and then he gained a whole bunch of new aliens, and it's crazy. And as the preview noted, he also got to scan aliens to gain even more for his Omnitrix. So through his journeys, which were apparently kind of destined because his grandfather was part of an intergalactic group of heroes known as the Plumbers, which is honestly kind of a terrible name, but hey, if you need something fixed, call a plumber. But he found out that his grandfather was a plumber. Technically his grandmother was an alien, an Anodite, I believe it was called. Again, I remember a lot of these alien names. An Anodite, and so he was basically destined for this, which is great because outside of his ego, which I'll be getting to later, Ben really is really quite capable, especially as he got more used to his abilities. He's able to quickly adapt on the fly to whatever his new alien form is, no matter what shape or size, to quote the theme song, it is. And that's what's really, really cool. So you got Accelerate, who can go at lightning fast speeds. You got Swamp Fire, who is from Alien Force, who can basically regenerate from just about anything, as well as sending out seed bombs. You got a Big Chill, who's basically an icy ghost bug thing. You got Echo, who can multiply and send out massive amounts of sound waves. You got Way Big, who is like 6 inches tall. I'm kidding. He's like 6 stories tall. Actually, how tall is Way Big? I think it's like over like 100, 200 feet tall. Anyway, and then arguably the most powerful alien in his roster, it depends who you talk to, but it's Alien X. Again, I'll also be talking about it in a bit. So he's literally got, if you think about every superpower that's ever been thought of, and some that haven't, he's got them in the Omnitrix. And as several future episodes have shown, he eventually gets access to over 10,000 aliens. 10,000 aliens. That's a lot of transformations. So because of this, obviously Ben was a target for just about every evil villain who knew what the Omnitrix was and beyond. So he's fought Vilgax, who was a world conqueror. He's fought the Forever Knights, who are actually guys trying to kill an actual dragon, because dragons do exist and they're an alien species. You're welcome. Let's see. He's fought Charm Master and Hex, who are Master Magicians. He's fought Zombozo, a zombie clown, because obviously we can't just have a regular clown, obviously. Let's see. He's fought all kinds of monsters. He's fought Albedo, who is his technical double, yet also the same alien as a gray matter. He's fought bounty hunters. He's fought it's just there's so many he's fought. He's literally fought world-ending. Oh yeah, he's fought a race of frog conquerors. I kid you not, there is a race of frog people in the Ben 10 universe who are conquerors and will destroy planets after they've conquered them, or if they can't conquer them, they'll just blow them up anyway. So it's just like, how are you conquerors? They conquer everything. It's frogs! So, yeah, he's fought specialized mech warriors. He's fought a lot. He's freaking Ben 10, alright? Now, the problem with Ben is that he's really, really a jerk. Okay, especially in the early series, he is, he's arrogant, he's cocky, he thinks that the Omnitrix is his answer to everything, and what Ben wants, Ben is going to try and get. Like in one time, Grandpa Max had set them up at this nice hotel, and he found out that there was this video game tournament about to happen. And so he wanted to get involved, but he wasn't allowed to. So what does Ben do? He goes gray matter, sneaks into the gaming area, plays the game, gets like a super high score, which is awesome, until the security guard caught him and kicked him and Grandpa Max and Gwen out. And of course they were all mad at him, but he didn't care because he's like, I was just trying to have fun and all that. So yeah, he's pretty much a jerk, and that hasn't exactly cooled off in the later series. In fact, you could say he got more arrogant and more jerkish. And even though he has always trusted Gwen and he highly respects Gwen, he does do things just to tick her off, and he unintentionally does things that ticks her off. This one time, this is a funny one. This one time, I believe it was Ultimate Alien. I think it was Ultimate Alien or Alien Force. One of Gwen's longtime enemies, Michael Morningstar, had unintentionally invaded her college area, and they stopped her, but instead of rewarding Gwen, they rewarded Ben with an honorary doctorate. So Gwen is busting her butt to try and get her degree, and Ben just gets handed one because he's Ben 10. I love this show. I watched it right up until the end, and then they had that reboot, and I refused to watch it because that's not my Ben 10. But hey, that's none of my business. This episode is not sponsored by Pepsi or Green Lantern. So, but despite his faults, and he has many faults, and he is Ben 10 after all, he is the epitome of a hero. He will always save the day. He will never not risk his life to save the day, and he will do whatever it takes to beat the bad guy, because when Ben 10's on call, it's hero time. I want that to be like the closing thing. I really wanted the doors to close there, but whatever. All right, moving on. On the planet Earth. Oh wait, Ben was from Earth too. Never mind. Long time ago, not a long time ago. See, all these confusing stories. Okay, serious now. Green Lantern. Hal Jordan was a test pilot for, well, okay, he's technically a test pilot for many people. He was on the Air Force, then he was for Ferris Air and everything. But he was a test pilot and one of the best in the world. He was known for his absolute fearlessness, but also his recklessness. And he was a ladies' man, womanizer, and a jerk. But we'll get to that later. Anyway. One day during a flight and crash landing, depending on which continuity you believe in, he met an alien named Abin Sur. Abin Sur was the Green Lantern of Sector 2814, which is Earth's sector. And Abin Sur was dying. So he willed the ring that he wore as a Green Lantern to Hal Jordan. And from that point on, Hal Jordan was the first, but not the only, eventually, Green Lantern of Earth/Sector 2814. The Green Lanterns, as noted in the recent Death Battle preview, are the galactic police force, okay? They literally can fly around the universe, and they are assigned to various parts of the universe and are to protect it from any and all threats that may come. And there are a lot of threats in the universe, which is why the Guardians of the Universe, not the galaxy, the universe, have been watching over it with the Green Lantern Corps for 3 billion years. And for the most part, the universe has survived, a couple of crises aside. And that goes to show the importance of the Green Lantern Corps. But at the time, a human had never been allowed to be a Green Lantern because they thought that they didn't have the willpower and the rings had never chosen him. And Abin Sur handpicked Jordan, even though technically what's supposed to happen is once the Lantern dies, the ring is supposed to just go and zip off in the universe and find a replacement. But he kind of circumvented, he kind of cheated, but it worked out in their favor because Hal Jordan is literally the man without fear. I'm sorry, Daredevil, but Green Lantern is the man without fear. Hal Jordan has so much willpower that it's crazy, as you're about to see, because the Green Lantern Corps is powered by these rings, which holds the mystical green energy of the universe. You see, there is an emotional spectrum in the universe that helps bind it all together, and each of these energies has its own power source. And for the Green Lanterns, their energy source is not just the green, okay, that's something else, is not green, but willpower, the green light of willpower. And so if you have enough willpower, the willpower to overcome anything, the willpower to overcome fear, you have the power to be a Green Lantern. And Hal Jordan, even though he was handpicked, the first time anyway, he is the man with enough willpower to conquer any fear that's put in front of him. Which is good, because the other benefit of the willpower of the green energy spectrum is that you can make constructs, hard light constructs, which are able to become whatever you can imagine as long as you know what the object is. So I wish I had a weapon here now. So if you had a sword, you can make a sword. If you knew what a machine gun looked like, you can make a machine gun, rocket launcher, armor, boxing gloves, whatever you wanted. As long as you could think it, you can make it. So, naturally, Hal Jordan took up the ring. He took up his mantle of Green Lantern, and he went off to the universe and became one of the greatest Green Lanterns ever, and to some, the greatest Green Lantern to have ever lived, which used to be the title of his mentor / now rival, frenemy, enemy, arch rival, Sinestro. But he became the greatest Green Lantern. He's a long-standing member of the Justice League, among other groups, obviously. And he has protected / saved the universe from a near infinite amount of threats. Because he has so much gosh dang willpower. I mean, I know I keep saying that, so let me quantify it for you. In a recent a semi-recent comic arc. It was called the DCU, like you. I'm pointing to you. They had it to where Hal Jordan had to make his own lantern ring, which was impossible, except for Hal Jordan, because it was not created the normal way. It was created via his own willpower. So the ring was literally connected to him in a way that was beyond any other Green Lantern ring in existence, because he created it in his own willpower. And because of that, he got to harness his willpower in a way that even the original Green Lantern rings couldn't do. He once kept up with a new god who can fly well beyond the speed of light, just because he willed his construct of a fighter jet to do so. which should have been impossible, but not for Hal Jordan. His willpower once blew up a planet. Okay? Sinestro once had War World. If you know your DC Comics universe, you know what that is. He once had War World and was threatening to, do bad things to the galaxy. And so what does Hal Jordan do? He says, screw you, Sinestro, harnesses all of his willpower, goes full Green Lantern energy, and blows up Sinestro and War World in one shot. Yeah, welcome to comics, everybody. So, as you can see, he is incredibly powerful. And even though his constructs are a bit basic, he's no fool with how to use them. Most times, yes, he'll rush into a situation and just do what he feels is best because he thinks he can handle everything. That sounds familiar. He also knows how to warp a situation to his advantage. For example, in an actual recent comic, he went up against Zod. Yes, is that Zod? Zod. All right. So Zod had taken over a planet. Hal Jordan wasn't having it, and so he decided he was going to go, deal with this, right? So it took a while, but eventually it was a one-on-one match between Zod and Green Lantern. And Zod Zod does not hold back. He is anti-Superman. He will never hold back against the opponent as long as he is trying to win. And so Hal Jordan is fighting him. He's using his energy constructs to, hold him back. And then at one point, he literally just calls out Zod as an idiot because while Zod is focusing right in front of him, he's a pilot. Jordan's a pilot, so he's thinking 360. So when Zod looks around, he's got about, 100 fighter jets and craft aiming right at him. And Hal Jordan just goes, woo! And he wins. He beat Zod. All right? Kneel before Zod. That's Zod. It's Zod, Todd. What about him? Not me, obviously. Anyway, but yeah, so Hal Jordan is pretty brilliant and what he wants to be. And between that and his immense willpower, he is a valued member of the Justice League. He is a revered member of the Green Lantern Corps, even leading the Green Lantern Corps on multiple occasions. And he has saved the universe from an infinite amount of threats, including Sinestro, the Sinestro Corps, the Red Lanterns, Larfleeze, I can never say his name correctly, who is the Orange Lantern, Necron, the God of Death. He stopped the First Army, the Third Army, the Last Army. No, wait, hold on. It was the First Army, the Third Army, the Manhunters. I said Necron. He has fought the Anti-Monitor. He helped fight Darkseid multiple times. He's battled the New Gods. He has fought so much of what the universe has to offer, and I'm just literally scratching the surface. There's the Dark Stars. There's it's the Legion of Doom, the Injustice Society. He's fought every kind of bad guy you can think of over his tenure. So, and he's had a long tenure. I mean, he was the first modern Green Lantern. The first Green Lantern was Alan Scott, but ever since the reboot, they made it Hal Jordan, and he's been there ever since. And he's screwed up. He's done some very bad things in his time, including the Emerald Twilight, where he basically eradicated all of the Green Lantern Corps because he was possessed by Parallax, the embodiment of fear. But he's bounced back. He's redeemed himself in every way that matters, and he is a hero. But much like a certain kid we just talked about, he does have some key flaws. Mainly, and I apologize for the language, Hal Jordan's a dick. All right, he is incredibly arrogant. He is a womanizer, especially when it comes to Carol Ferris. He is so arrogant at times that he'll tick off just about everybody around him because he thinks he's right, and he doesn't care at times about his own safety or certain safety of certain others, because he knows that he's right in his heart, and he might be right most of the time, but it doesn't make him any less arrogant. And when he's not a Green Lantern, he kind of doesn't know what to do with his life, which shows he's kind of got his priorities in the wrong order. Of course, it's also the writer's fault because they've had him multiple times end up with Carol Ferris, and then the next issue after like a reboot, yeah, they're not together anymore. But hey, that's not my business. This episode's still not sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi. There's a lit name for you. Pepsi. Anyway. Also, as you might know, while the Green Lantern energy has a lot of power, it's not infinite. it has a limit. Even Hal's own ring, the one he created from his own willpower, it has a limit. It has to be recharged every so often. So after a big battle or skirmish, you know, or war, which he's been in multiple, it can get drained. And if it gets drained, if it hits 0, he's out because he cannot defend himself. He's literally human Hal Jordan. So that's a major weakness of the Green Lantern ring. But still, he is the greatest Green Lantern to ever live. He is one of the greatest DC characters to ever exist. Don't talk about the movie. The movie was terrible. Okay, Ryan Reynolds wasn't terrible. The movie was. Okay, so, but still, he's one of the best DC heroes out there. And you know, you can always, if the universe is in peril, you can count on Hal Jordan to step up and try and save the day. So, who wins between Ben 10 and Hal Jordan? Now, I've already heard a lot of people say this is a stomp. I don't believe that it is. It's kind of a stomp because of a certain alien that I'm going to talk about, but the problem here is that while it's true that Ben 10 has is like 10,000 aliens, and he can pick and choose who he becomes now because of Ben 10,000 and all of that, Hal Jordan has faced off against tens of thousands of aliens, all right? Between this universe, the next universe, and everything in between, he has faced a plethora, a menagerie, onslaught of aliens. He has fought gods, new gods, old gods, Superman-type gods. As I say, he's beaten Zod. He's faced off against a Justice League, Atlantis. I'm only scratching the surface. He's faced homebrewed creations by the Guardians of the Universe after they tried to wipe out the Green Lantern Corps and failed. He beat the Manhunters and everything else. He is incredibly adaptable because he's seen it all. Now, granted, he's never seen aliens like Ben 10, but if Ben were to pick the wrong alien, like let's say he goes like to 4 arms, okay, goes to the very basic one, right? There's no way that Jordan would lose because all he has to do is use his ring, use the constructs, grab the arms, and like rip. And then you could say, oh, what about Accelerate? Accelerate is super fast. But again, as I noted, Hal Jordan kept up with a new god who was facing off against an energy blast that was tracking them. Like, it wasn't the Omega Sanction, or it wasn't the Omega Beam, so it was close to that. It was tracking them through space at light speed, and Jordan was going faster than that, just on his willpower, okay? So the speed ratio isn't as much as you think. The problem here is that by the very definition of death battle, the question becomes who would win in their ultimate scenario. So obviously Jordan wouldn't kill Ben right off. Even in a death battle, he wouldn't. He's not a coward. He would not destroy Ben in his kid form, kind of like how Carol wouldn't kill Billy Batson, right? So Carol Danvers wouldn't kill Billy Batson. So Ben's got to get a transformation in, and if he knows if he's only got one transformation to do, if he's got to end the battle right now, he's going to go Alien X. Alien X is an omnipotent alien of Celestialians or something like that. They're basically from the Forge of Creation. Okay, they're the beginning of Ben 10's universe, and because of that, he can, when he has, okay, I gotta say this right. Alien X, like I said, is a being from the beginning of creation. All right, it's from a race of beings from the beginning of creation. Inside the form of Alien X are 2 voices. I can't remember their names, but it's the voice of compassion and the voice of rage. And then Ben comes in as the voice of reason. I know that sounds hilarious, but it is, but it's what happens. So, right. So, because of how celestial aliens are, they have these voices in their head, and because they're in direct conflict with one another, they can never agree. So their bodies never move unless there is an agreement to be made. Okay? Which is where Ben comes in because he breaks the tie. So because of this, Alien X is only used in the most extreme of circumstances, and this is a good thing because there's been some extreme circumstances that defy explanation. For example, Alien X survived an attack from the Annihilarg, which was a literal universe-destroying event. And not only did Alien X survive the destruction of the universe, he used his own power to bring back the universe in its entirety as if it had never been destroyed. There is nothing in Green Lantern's arsenal that can stand up to Alien X. And even if we were to exclude Alien X, there are other things that Ben 10 can do to take out Green Lantern. For example, one of the scenarios I thought about was Big Chill. Big Chill can go transparent. You know, he can phase. And if Green Lantern can't get a hold of him even with the constructs, he can't do any damage to him. There's also some aliens that Ben has are incredibly small that can avoid damage. And even though accelerate isn't light speed, he could certainly make Jordan get ticked enough to forget that he's faster and do damage that way. There's also Upgrade, which I can't confirm this, but Upgrade has the ability to invade tech to its own devices. The Ring is tech. The Ring is a machine. It's been hacked before, even, including by Cyborg Superman in a very, very, very recent arc. So, if it can be hacked, Upgrade can get it. So there's that. There's also Gray Matter, who's a genius. There's Brainstorm, who's a super, super genius. Um, and then there's just a whole bunch of other aliens that, if Ben chooses correctly, he can win. Now, of course, there is the question about the 10-minute time limit, which usually happens with the series, but that hasn't, because of the stability of Ben 10,000, where he literally made the Omnitrix to where he can change in at will, as he desires. That's not going to be a problem here. So, while Green Lantern will definitely hold his own and can definitely give Ben 10 a run for his money in most of his alien forms, even way big would not be a match for Green Lantern. I'm very serious there. Because again, he destroyed a planet. Jordan destroyed a planet with his own willpower. So, what it really comes down to is, can Jordan beat his most powerful aliens? And the answer is no. Because between Alien X, Big Chill, and certain other aliens that he has, there's just the willpower alone is not enough. So with that, I am picking Ben 10 to win this battle. So there you go. And with that, I am ending this episode of Todd Talk. Who do you think is going to win between Ben 10 and Green Lantern? Yep, brings back on. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know. Let's have a little game right now. Who is going to give the death blow to Hal Jordan? I know a lot of people think Alien X, but I would actually like to see someone else like Big Chill get the win. So let me know which alien you think is going to win, or if you think Green Lantern's going to win, let me know how you think he'll do it. Okay, good. So I thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I know you were listening, and I will see you around.